Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel, Gaiastrynth. It is so good to see you guys here. As you all can see, we have a special guest. I want you guys to meet Ehvenly chosen to son. We are happy that baby girl has made it over here safely, outside. I'm just so blessed, so blessed to have her here. But if you're new here, my name is Gaiastrynth. I am a 24-year-old new mommy, entrepreneur, live in South Florida, creator, all the things. Yeah. Today for this video, we are going to be discussing my birth story. And I would say my birth story is like very quick and simple and straight to the point. So I was scheduled to be induced. Okay, we're gonna just rewind. So I'm gonna go on my calendar so I can remember. And when I went to the doctor on June 5th, that was a Thursday. I went to the doctor on June 5th to check myself if I was dilated, anything. Still not dilated. My cervix was still high, so it wasn't low at all, and she was just snuggled up in there. And my doctor was like, we're gonna induce you because I don't go past 40 weeks. She just didn't go past 40 weeks just because weight of the baby, you don't know how much the baby weighs and things like that, as well as she just didn't want to just stall like the process if it just didn't need to be, I guess. Said, okay, we're gonna induce you because I don't want you going into the next weekend still pregnant. I was like, ooh, okay. So and she did ask me like, are you okay with going like after the fact, after your 40 weeks? And I said, yeah, I was fine with that, but she wanted to go ahead and just induce me like on my actual due date. So she said when I came in on that Monday, if I still was not dilated, then on Tuesday or Wednesday was when I was going to get dilated. And she wanted to dilate me on my actual due date, but the hospital was completely full, you guys, full. Monday came, didn't dilate at all. One second, guys, let me get her little pacifier. Second. Okay. Oh, Ehvenly. Oh, I think it's her hiccups. I'm gonna just keep it here. So when it came to Monday, still not dilated at all. So Ethan and I went in her office. Ethan is my husband, if you guys do not know. So we went into her office, called the hospital. They said they were full for Tuesday, so I had to come Wednesday. Scheduled for Wednesday to get there at 6 a.m. to start my induction process. Well, 6:30 a.m. Now, mind you guys, Tuesday, we got a, no, was it Tuesday? Monday, right after the appointment, on Monday, the office had called and they were saying, wait, because you haven't had an ultrasound since your 34-week appointment, because I was going to my OB and then a prenatal center to get my ultrasounds done and everything, and they stopped at 34 weeks. I hadn't gotten one since my 34-week appointment, so they were saying because of that they wanted me to go to the hospital Tuesday morning or evening, basically, to be able to check the fluid in the amniotic fluid, like in the sac and stuff, to make sure that the fluid was okay and all that for us to induce. Because if I went there and if they did the ultrasound and it said, oh, she has low fluid in there, they were gonna admit me that day. How are they gonna do that? And they were full and they had no space. I have no idea. But we got up Tuesday morning, went over there. It's me, my mom, and Ethan. My mom did a great job with recording and stuff, so I'll insert a clip, because I was very nervous while being in there, because we were in the triage area. But the nurse who we had was absolutely amazing. We did all that, everything checked out, she was good. So Wednesday I was still good to come in at 6:30 in the morning. So we all got up. My mom met Ethan and I over at the hospital on Wednesday morning, which was her due date. So June 10th was her delivery date. So now it's Wednesday, June 10th. And we get there, I want to say we were supposed to come there at 6:30, but the nurse said we could have came at 6 a.m. just to be early. So I think we got there like 6:15. I'm gonna check back on my video. Oh, we got there right on time. Okay, it was 6:04 a.m. I thought we were running a little late, but really it wasn't. So 6:04 a.m. is when we got there. And we got inside, everything was smooth. We got into the room, had to get my IV inserted in. Absolutely don't like that at all. I can do getting my blood drawn, but having an IV just stay in my hand or even arm for that reason, absolutely hated it. So I had to get it in my hand here. Ugh, I didn't like it at all. It was the most uncomfortable, and it was painful to me as well. So we did all of that. You okay, baby? And didn't get the actual induction process started up until 10:30 a.m. right? So we had a nurse come in, and my OB was there as well. They inserted in the Certiville, which is like a thin little like white paper, kind of like with a string at the end that they have to input into your cervix to get your cervix dilated, and kind of get the process kind of going. But you have to have that in for 12 hours, right? So 10:30 a.m. I was supposed to have that in for 12 hours. So they inserted that in, right? I was getting rapid different checks with the Certiville. And the worst part about laboring was the cervical checks, because my cervix was so high. Compared to somebody who was extremely dilated, the cervix was low, all of that, they wouldn't have to be required to, like, for someone like that, they would only have to kind of go in with this much is the normal, you know, to go in and check. For me and for my husband's standpoint, because he was in the room, of course, while they were doing the cervical checks, because I definitely needed him as well during those times, because they had to go so far up in there to check me, and it was painful, like really painful, pressure, all of the things. I absolutely hated it. I actually really hated the cervical checks more than my contractions, to be honest. So to him, he said they went as far as like having their hand like kind of up to here, which was long, you know what I mean, like going up there. So we had to do that consistently. I want to say, I don't know if that was like every hour or every 2 hours or so with them checking that, and I was like, oh my gosh. So, and then at one point I like yelped and screamed when one of the nurses had came in there and did it, and my mother-in-law was there at this point. She wasn't in the room though. She was waiting outside the room with my mom, because my mom was like, she could not do that and see her baby in pain. So while they were waiting out there, Ethan and I were doing that, and I yelped out in pain, and that was like a part that broke me in regards to like me crying and everything else. So and I was like, so Ethan, his heart was kind of broken with that, and my mother-in-law as well, because I had been doing fine, and I wasn't emotional or anything like that the entire time. So that happened. The Certiville was still, so it was having my contractions. I was getting contractions like every minute. That was extremely fast for the Strynth. They weren't thinking that it was going to be happening like that. It was happening too fast. So the fluids that they had in my IV, the nurse, she went about, I don't know, lessening or the fluids or whatever to kind of help contain the contractions so they weren't hitting as fast, because they were coming and coming and coming. They were hitting, but they were tolerable. Like, they weren't horrible, but I was able to tolerate them. And it was just that I was really not getting enough really break time to, you know, catch my breath and go through it. But while I was doing that, going through those contractions, I was moving around, laying down in bed while having contractions, or nodded. I absolutely don't like it at all. I don't recommend it. Like, if you can be able to be up and stuff while you're going through your contractions, honey, do that. So I had my birthing ball with me while I was contracting. That kind of helped, but me swaying, moving back and forth, standing on the side of my bed helped me. I didn't get to walk the halls because I was being monitored, and I was connected to the machine. So the monitor, they didn't have like a wireless monitor or something like that for me to be able to like walk down the halls and stuff like that. If I was really adamant about walking the halls, they would have basically, I would have been disconnected from the monitor for a while, and it kind of would like reboot this whole process basically. And that's not what they really liked. So I was just like, okay, it's fine, I can just pace myself in the room. So that's what I did. I was kind of just walking back and forth in the room, swaying. I felt like that helped. And then when my doctor came, she was coming back around 3 or 4 p.m. to see how I was doing. When she checked me, I was 2 centimeters dilated by then. And then they were saying that they were going to, at 9, because I was going to be done. Was that 9:30 or 10:30? 10:30. They were stopping the side attack. And then I was able to take a shower and all of that. So once they did that, I think I was like 3 centimeters. I think it was 3 centimeters dilated. Little things are kind of like a blur. Things kind of, some of the times it just kind of went by a little fast. But so 10:30, no, 10:15. The nurse, one of the nurses came in and she was saying, okay, we're gonna take out the side attack. So they took it out. And then they said I was able to take a quick shower, eat something real quick, because once they start the Pitocin, it's not gonna, you know. And I was very nervous about Pitocin because I heard so many different kinds of stories with Pitocin. I mean, Jesus, I mean, it could swell you up. Them contractions come and they're hitting like crazy with it. And I really didn't want to have the Pitocin, you know, because I was going to do the side attack. But because of how well I progressed with the Strynth, I was fine with the side effects. So, yeah, guys. So 10:15 came, they took it out. I had to take a shower. I needed Ethan in the shower with me because my contractions was really here. You know what I mean? And I didn't feel like I could stand inside of the shower how I was contracting. Stand like kind of like by myself, if that was. So at some point, Ethan had to get into the shower with me. And assist me with taking a shower. And then all of a sudden while we were showering, I felt like I had no control, because it was either my water had broke or I peed, but it was a sense of like not having no control. And I was told Ethan, I said, I don't know, I think my water broke, but I'm not too sure, you know. But we finished the shower and stuff. It was like 10:30 around this time. Told the nurse, he was like, we think my water broke, but I feel like I peed. I'm not too sure, because it was hard to gauge because I took a shower, you know. So, and by then all of the fluid is kind of really out of you. So when she went to kind of check me, she was saying that whatever the thing was that shows them the fluid, if the fluid appears, it shows that the like water broke or something. But she was saying it wasn't showing that the water broke, but it did show like the mucus plug, I guess, was gone. But hey, y'all, we really didn't know what was going on at all. I was contracting. My best friend Cynthia, she was with us during this time frame as well, while I was while I was going through this as well, because she came, oh Lord, I don't remember what time she got there. I think she got there like 8, and it was with us for like 2 hours, I think, or 3 hours. But during the time frame when they said I could be able to eat, she went and got me tropical smoothie. I only was sipping on the smoothie. I didn't eat the sandwich. Because I was just like, I know with labor sometimes, like, all that stuff can just come back up depending on how it goes, and all of that. So I was just sipping on my smoothie from her. She was godsend. Oh my God. Being able to have her there, and none of this was planned either. We went about doing that. So I had it, and then they started that Pitocin. Baby, when that Pitocin kicked in, my hand burned. As soon as that Pitocin kicked in, I punched the bed. I said, it burns like that. And the lady was like, it's gonna burn like that because we had stopped the fluid, and it's gonna come in and it's strong. Baby. Ooh, baby. That right there, oh my God, I didn't like it whatsoever. It was painful. I didn't like that. That Pitocin, whoa, was something else. So I had the Pitocin, and then that really kick-started my contractions. And I had ended up getting up to 4 centimeters, and I was at 4 centimeters, I think at 12, I think it was like 12 a.m.-ish around this time. And then I was like beat. I was just, it was the Pitocin. If I naturally went into labor myself and then go through contractions without having like things to start them, I feel like I would have been able to really make it far and mentally have gotten far, because I was just really going for it with not having an epidural, right? Yeah, I really was going for it with not having an epidural at all. And if I didn't get induced, and if she really would have had came on her own, which I feel like she was never gonna come on her own because of how she was in there. I would have been able to make it far, to be honest, I feel, or would have not had gotten the epidural, right? But I got to the point, I was tired. My body was tired. My mind, I was still in a good mental place. I was still going, but my body was tired. And my mom had like got down on the same level as me and was like, look, you're not proving anything to nobody. It doesn't matter. This isn't showing how strong you are. It doesn't matter that you didn't do it, that you didn't do it. You're bringing life into this world. And I'm not going to sit here and see you in pain like this, like at all. So I was just like, in my mind, I was just silencing things around me, because I wanted to be able to hear God telling me what I wanted to do. Because he was just like, what are you proving? And that it is okay for you to get it. Because in the circumstance that I was in, how high she was, and we had been at this like for about 12 hours or something like that by then. You know what I mean? Like it was, or 13 or 14 hours by then. So it was time, you know what I mean? And I was like, okay, I was asking the nurse, hey, what's the process of the epidural? It's really quick, because I thought an epidural was a shot. It was not. It's a whole process. So she was saying 15-20 minutes. And I'm like, what does she mean by 15-20 minutes just for a shot? But she was saying the whole procedure. I called my daddy because I felt like I needed some kind of like tough love and assertiveness, you know what I mean? So when I called him, I said, Dad, I'm thinking about getting an epidural. You know, he was just like, look, it's gonna be pain either way. Having an epidural, not having it, while they're doing it, do not get caught up with your emotions, crying, all that, because you can, with your motions and you jumping, you can potentially mess up your spine, but also mess them up, and they have to do it again. So just go through it. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay. I told the nurse, okay, we can go about doing it. And that's what we did. And all right, you guys, I put her down because she was sleeping, and I just wanted her to be down. Okay, so so they did allow to have like 2, and like to have as many people as you wanted in there for the epidural. I was shocked about, because I've seen where they just don't want anybody in there with you, right? So my mom was like, I'm not gonna be able to do it, you know. So I said, okay. So we just had so Ethan was in there with me. They just had you turn around, bring yourself back to the person. He was in front of me. I had to, like, you know, put my head against his chest, relax my shoulders, and the other nurse was there too. And then the lady who we had was very nice. I thought I was gonna get like a very cold-hearted person, but she came to do what she had to do, but she wasn't like completely cold to me, you know what I mean? So I was okay with that. And so they did it. My shoulders just got like tensed up, but they just told me tense. I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. She's like, you're doing a great job, we're almost done. So when they do it, they put, I guess, like a little catheter like in your back, I guess, and it's attached to your IV. So over time, if you need the epidural to kick in some more, you click a button and it runs through your back. So they do that, and then they also had put a catheter inside, which I didn't feel at that point because I had numbed up and stuff. So that was an okay process. That was a lot of pressure though. Ooh, thinking about it, I just like felt it in my back. It is a lot of like pressure in your back, and you just gotta try and psych yourself out like when it comes to it. But yes, and so we did that. They gave me the peanut ball to be able to lay down on, like to increase my dilating and everything as well. So we did that. I want to say at a certain point, I think it was like 4 o'clock or 3:45 a.m. This is when the nurse had looked, and she was like, okay, her movement has slowed down. Her heart rate is kind of like dropping a little bit. We don't like that. I'm about to call your OB. And I was like, they're going to give me a C-section, because you know they don't like when baby's heart rates drop and everything. And she didn't respond well with the Pitocin or the epidural. That's why her movements and stuff was, it stopped at a certain point. It lessened, and then her heart rate too. So I was like, okay. I was processing my mind. All right, they're gonna have to cut me open. God is in the forefront of my brain. We're just gonna be able to get through this, because you can't plan anything, you know. So and it's funny, Ethan had thought the same thing. We never said it to each other, but we were thinking the same thing. So I told Ethan, look, call my mom, because my mom had left at some point to go back to the house, and she was gonna come back, but she was just gonna get a quick little rest. I told Ethan, you need to call her. So she ended up coming back. Well, we called her, right? She didn't answer twice. I said, oh Lord, she's asleep. I called my dad. He was awake. He woke her up. And from her point of view, she was saying that he was coming. My dad was coming as well, but he was like flustered. And she was like, look, I'm not waiting for him, and he's being flustered and everything like that. I'm going. He's going to meet us there. So mom ended up getting there. Before mom got there, my OB got there, and she was saying how far is mom. I said about 8 minutes. She said, okay, by the time mom gets here and then I get all my stuff together, this baby is coming, because she checked me again and she said, oh my God, you're like fully there. We're getting this baby out. So it's like everything just kind of really happened so fast. Really, after I had that epidural, it happened quick. So yeah. So from then on, mom got there. My doctor, she was dressed up and ready to go. And they showed me, well, they practiced with me, like how you're supposed to like have your legs up and stuff and push and all that. Don't push with your face, push with your stomach, like your abdomen, and all that. So, you know, we did a practice trial. I pushed with my face. I adjusted myself. And then when it was about the time to start pushing, I saw my dad. He came. And I said, come on, Pops. And like, once again, this was not planned whatsoever. My dad was never supposed to be a part of the birth plan. Like, my mom and Ethan was going to be there, and that was it. But, and my mother-in-law and my brother-in-law ended up getting there too, but they were waiting outside, you know, because I just wanted my parents and my husband there. That was just all I wanted at that time. So, and we got to it, y'all. And my dad was coaching me through it. Ethan was holding my hand, telling me to push, push, push. He was looking as well. My mom was more so in the background. And she signaled me saying she saw her head. I pushed for 10 minutes and she came out. So I did 3 reps of the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think 5 reps. 5 or 3. I don't know. But we got her out, y'all. We got her out. I did end up tearing. I don't know, the right labia and the left something, but the doctor, she was so funny. She was like, oh my gosh, she's so little, but she did some damage down here. So it's such a surreal moment, because when they brought her out, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is a little human, like this is a human being. And I was like, oh my gosh, hi, like nice to meet you. Like, it was so weird, the fact that you get to see what was in your body for that much time. You know what I mean? You imagine your baby, you think about what they're gonna look like, all of that. And it was so surreal when they pulled her out and put her on my chest. And while they had her on my chest, my doctor was doing whatever she was doing down there. I couldn't feel it. I wasn't in extreme pain. It's just that I could feel what she was doing, but I was so numb, you know. It was just weird. It's a weird feeling. So they were doing that, and then yeah, it was amazing. She came out 5 pounds 13 ounces. She was little, and our baby girl was born, and we went about, you know, just going through, I mean, just having her here, you know. And we're just so blessed. We're blessed for the fact that we had so many nice nurses, like so many. I was very adamant on wanting to make sure that I was just really hoping that I had like a nice medical team for me, and we did. I mean, it was only one nurse out of all of them that was like not really up to par, I would say. But everybody else, like, it was so nice. What in the world? Yeah, everybody else, it was just so nice. They were so nice and so sweet. I also did a nursing basket as well for the nursing team. So while I was there, the different people who came in, they you know, got stuff, you know. But I absolutely was so grateful for the nursing team, like, that we truly did have. So grateful. And to be able to have them with us, you know, it makes the process much relaxing and more peaceful. You don't really got to worry about, oh my God, these people aren't listening to me, or they really are not caring for me, especially as a Black woman giving birth. I mean, any woman, period, it's not guaranteed for you to make it out, but for a Black woman to really get the care and essential stuff that she truly needs during the birth process, laboring, all of that, it's more of a risk, you know. But I felt safe for the most part. And I mean, she came out, and Ehvenly Chosen is here now. And I'm just so blessed to be able to have her here. And yeah, she's 2 weeks old now. She'll be 3 weeks next week. So it's just crazy how she's about to be a month. And when she hits a month, I will do a like postpartum vlog recap, things like that, as well, too, just to, you know, check in with you guys after first month postpartum, to really deep dive into that and all of that. But I just wanted to give you guys just like my birth story. I'm just blessed to be able to have had my mom, Ethan, my mother-in-law was there as well. My best friend was there too. So I'm just blessed, and I'm blessed for our village and the people who have been showing up for us since we've gotten home, who has came to see our baby girl, who has done little things for us, gotten us food, checked in, text messages, has just been overall so positive. Just so blessed. It's so blessed. I can't wait to really touch on it in my like 1 month like update and stuff. But yeah, so that is the end of my birth story. And I'm just blessed that I was able to make it through it. And I wouldn't have been able to do it by first God, 2, my family, you know, and 3, just keeping a positive mind as well. And your scenery is so important. I'm so glad I had a window, even though, I mean, I had a tree. There were so many signs. I'm a very down-to-earth person. I love nature. Nature calms me. It just does. So where our room was, we were in front of a huge tree. There were birds, blue jays. Blue jays are a significant, they signify a visitor is coming, which is her. I have been seeing blue jays throughout the pregnancy consistently. I saw on one of the tiger stripe butterflies representation of, you know, one of my aunts who had passed away, my grandfather who had passed away. He was blooming, what do you call it, gardenias in my mom's garden. Consistently, he had not bloomed for months, and he was just blooming, 3s, 4s, different kind of gardenias. And it was just that I felt like my angels were just like truly on my side, and I was just covered all the way. And I'm just blessed. I'm blessed because not everybody has a very nice birth story. Not everybody doesn't have a traumatic story. Not everybody has somebody there with them. And I was just thinking about when I am feeling overwhelmed, anxiety, or even in the process when we were going through it, like the labor process, I was just thinking there's somebody who's in a more worse condition than me, or who has been in worse condition. And it also helped me too by just thinking about there were women around me who had given birth and they made it out fine too. You know what I mean? So representation truly does matter. I was just thinking about, okay, women, like, we do this. We done did this. You know what I mean? We God gave us our bodies to do this. So, yeah, y'all. But that is the end of my birth story. Thank you guys also for almost getting us to 400 subscribers on my page as well. Please check out my shorts. Y'all been loving the shorts, like, for real. And make sure to follow me on TikTok. I post very consistently on there. I haven't been on Instagram. Really like that. I'll be returning to it fully very soon. But if you want to see me more consistently, you can see me on TikTok as well. And you'll be seeing more of me and baby girl. But thank you guys for tuning in, sending so much love, prayers, and congrats to me as well. It does not go unnoticed. And we will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.